317 or something. Some like weird random bullshit.
And if we did, that'd be no one's business but ours.
Exactly.
So as we all know, a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. I guess that goes for podcasters as well.
Words to live by.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not going to post a Blue Sky today. Mostly because I messed my Blue Sky profile up on my iPad. And I don't feel like fixing it right now.
That's fair enough.
I didn't mess it up. It updated and it signed out. And I can't remember exactly what. I have it written down somewhere.
It's fine.
Oh, before we start. No, what? Kenneth Coley? Collie?
I don't know.
Collie, I bet.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And we are the hosts of the Jedi Enclave Presents. Now, this is Podcasting Podcast, your weekly podcast about things to do with Star Wars and other fantasy, science fiction, nerdom things. We are one dog's whim from having our camera knocked over. I'd like everyone to know that right now. My dog, Brecker, who is laying down here with us, could at any moment decide to get up and knock everything over.
Fortunately, Brecker has a slightly bum leg and is being surprisingly chill at the moment.
He's been kind of recovering. He's been our baby. I don't know. We don't even know what he did. He just pulled a muscle or something. So anyway, yes, we are here streaming on the 4th of July, I suppose a holiday I would be more inclined to celebrate when I thought I had something to celebrate.
Yeah, like if fascists weren't in control of our country and actively ruining things, maybe I'd feel better about
celebrating. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, instead, just to take our minds off the existential dread, we went to go see Jurassic Park Rebirth today. And
I think we both had expectations that were like underneath the floor.
Oh, they're pretty low.
And we were both pleasantly surprised.
Yes. So yeah, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the 3-episode premiere, finale, of Ironheart, which, like after the first 3 episodes, my expectations weren't nearly as low. Actually, they were kind of high.
I liked it. I wanted to see what they did with it.
I ended up enjoying that quite a bit. And like 2 quick items of Star Wars news.
We're going to start with the bummer or the
bullshit? We'll start off with the bummer.
Okay.
Unfortunately, British actor Kenneth Colley, age 87, died recently, just a day ago. And from what I've read is that he had a brief illness.
So he was admitted to hospital with an injured arm after a fall, but contracted COVID, which developed into pneumonia, and that's what killed him.
Right. And Jimmy Hop says, "Yo," but yes, it kind of sucks. I memean, he was 87.
We should mention that he's probably best known to us as being Admiral Piet,
right,
in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the
Jedi. Yeah, that's right. Like on one hand it sucks, but on the other hand he was 87, so
he had a good run.
Yeah, but Godspeed, sir. Thanks for being the guy that has the existential moment at the end of Return of the Jedi. Oh, maybe we're the baddies. Before blowing up.
It's a good reminder that COVID is still out there and still killing people.
Yeah, it's even 5 years later, it's just like still a big problem. The other weird Star Wars news thing we're going to get to are the rumors swirling around, and we're not going to get into them too much because I believe in my heart of hearts that it's bullshit. But the rumors kind of swirling around this idea that Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus series, is going to get a second season. And I feel like things like this pop up every once in a while.
Because someone does an interview and says, "Oh, I'd love to do another season of X," which of course they would. They're an actor.
Right.
They only get paid while they're acting.
Right. Or any of these bot farm news outlets that, want to get some clicks or something. I'm surprised they haven't.
It's a day that ends in Y. Time to pump out some clickbait.
Yes. I'm a little surprised they haven't done this with Star Wars: The Acolyte yet, because it would enrage people and drive a lot of traffic. Like if there was a rumor that Star Wars Acolyte was getting season 2, it would, for various reasons, take over the internet for a day. Yeah. So I'm a little surprised they haven't done this. So
I'm sure Mike Zero has that in his break in case of emergency box.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's that smart. He's kind of a dumbass, and so is Star Wars Theory. So I'm not really sure. But anyway, the math isn't mathing here. And the main reason is because Kathleen Kennedy just said, 2 weeks ago, that they're kind of shifting strategies and moving away from episodic series on Disney Plus to theatrical releases.
Movies, yeah.
And this would seem to be the opposite
run counter
of that.
to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I presume that Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, probably knows what their strategy is for content.
In broad strokes, although every time she announces something, it immediately gets canceled. Right. So who the fuck knows? Yeah. Maybe that strategy got canceled and they're moving back to TV.
I don't know. They seem pretty sure this Ryan Gosling thing's going to happen. Which, oh my God, this isn't on the news. How did I not put this on the news rundown? So we had this whole thing last episode about Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
And I was so charged up for it because there was a movie poster.
Yep. And then there was a trailer.
And then there was a trailer that the next fucking day. And I got to tell you, it's not a surprise they put out a trailer. I'm a little surprised they put out a trailer so early.
I'm surprised they put out a trailer that explicitly showed the aliens.
It ruins both of the twists. If you want to go into that movie blind, don't watch the trailer.
Or listen to us for the last 2 minutes. I think.
Yeah, I'm probably done spoiling Project Hail Mary. But like if you, it's a superb science fiction story. And if you want to go into it without the big twists revealed, don't, because they really do just give it away. And in this case, I'm kind of glad that we talked about it and I didn't just send you a trailer that just ruined it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, starring Ryan Gosling. I got the fucking alien Rocky is right at the end. And I'm really stoked about this. And I however will admit that when the news came out that it seems that Andy Weir probably wrote this so that it would get bought up and turned into a film.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's still an amazing story. It's my favorite science fiction novel. When they announced that they had cast Ryan Gosling,
you were a little bit concerned.
Yeah, and that isn't even to say that, because I think Ryan Gosling is a really good actor, but like when I was reading that book, Ryland Grace didn't look like Ryan Gosling.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and that's just my own prejudice.
Yeah.
So if he does a good job, then whatever, I don't care. But yeah, that's out in the wild, and I think that's coming out in a little less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, next May, I think. So
we'll
be seeing it and talking about it.
Speaking of things we saw and talked about,
yes,
do we want to talk about dinosaurs?
Let's do Ironheart first.
Okay, we'll do Ironheart.
Yeah. So, wow, Disney Plus had a really weird release schedule with Ironheart, and I'm not sure what they were trying out.
So what I think was happening was they saw what Andor did, and they saw that Andor did really well, and they thought, okay, what can we take from that will hopefully do well in other contexts? And part of that was releasing 3 episodes at a time.
Okay.
And they were helped, if that was their plan, they were helped because Ironheart had a really good cliffhanger 3 episodes in.
Okay. Yeah.
Where last week we talked about how everything has gone to shit.
Yeah.
And that episode ends with Riri on her deck having a panic attack over everything going to shit.
But also this weird, ominous presence that seems to be inside Hood's head.
Hood's hood.
Yeah, under Hood's hood. So
there were a bunch of mysteries and things.
Right.
And then they put out the other 3 episodes that resolved a lot of it. I'm not going to say all of it, but
open up a lot of questions actually, and introduce us to a character that has been long theorized in the MCU.
Yeah.
And for those of you who also watch channels like New Rockstars know, if you've seen Ironheart, someone better go and make sure that Eric Voss hasn't orgasmed so hard that he's quite simply dead now. Yeah. So we'll get to that. A quick spoiler free. This is one of those shows where when I saw that it was happening, I was more or less not disinterested, but just not that interested, and not at all because I was upset at the premise. It's just that this is not a character I know very well from the comics, and I don't really care about the parts of the MCU that I like aren't the guys in the suits, in the high tech suits. It's like Captain Marvel, and I guess Tony Stark. Actually, I like him a lot, but still, like there are other parts of the MCU that I really enjoy watching. That being said, after having watched it, I'm glad I did, because I think that like in the spectrum of MCU shows on Disney Plus, this is one of the better ones.
I'd say so.
I would say that it's better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than Moon Knight.
Okay.
What other MCU?
She-Hulk?
I think it is better than She-Hulk, but because I don't know. Actually, I might hold them pretty close to one another, because I actually really like She-Hulk.
They're about equal.
Yeah. What else did they do? They did.
While you're thinking about
Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
It's definitely better than Secret Invasion.
Yeah. I think the first 3. I like the first 3 episodes better than the last 3.
Why?
The last 3, the pacing felt weird to me. It felt like they needed one more episode to deal with all the stuff that they were trying to do. The last episode in particular felt like it was just moving at warp speed, and then we got to the end, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of my issues with it, and also the things I really liked, both get into spoilers, so I'll hold on to those for a moment.
Let's play a quick game. Is it better than?
Okay.
Is it better than Secret Invasion?
Yes.
Is it better than Miss Marvel? I would put them about on the same. Actually, I would say it's better than Miss Marvel. Despite the fact that I enjoyed most of Miss Marvel, I would say it's better.
I'd say they're about equal.
Agatha All Along. Not better, not because it's because it's not amazing, not good, but because Agatha All Along was crazy good.
Catherine Hahn,
Patti LuPone, Joe Locke, fucking Aubrey Plaza, who, by the way, her character in the MCU now, I'm very interested to see how that dynamic, because they have to bring her back now that we know this other character is in the MCU universe. I feel like those 2 characters had. Without any spoilers,
they need to meet.
Aubrey Plaza and Sacha Baron Cohen in the same scene together would be fucking crazy, right? It doesn't matter what character he plays. Yeah. Daredevil, like the newest one, I actually really like the
I think Born Again is a little bit better than Ironheart.
Yeah. Echo, I didn't care for much at all, actually. Despite the fact that there's shit in there, I really wanted to like. Yeah. Like, I liked the Native American angle they were going with it, but I think otherwise it's kind of poorly executed. Better than Moon Knight, I think. Not better than Loki. And again, not because it wasn't good, because Loki was
just really great.
Yeah, it was really good. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think
better than.
Yeah. She-Hulk, I think we're holding it right around the same. Yeah. Hawkeye, remember the Christmas time? Yeah.
Oh, I think I like Hawkeye better.
I did like Hawkeye. It was a lot of fun.
It's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember really liking Hawkeye.
I wouldn't say it's better than WandaVision, because I actually really liked WandaVision as well.
I put WandaVision slightly above.
Okay. And I think those are all the live action. Because there was like Marvel. I'm not counting the.
What If, X-Men 95.
You were right, and I'm not counting the Netflix like Jessica Jones and all those other things.
Okay, so it's a solid mid-tier Marvel show.
Yeah.
I think we've established here.
Well, shall we get into spoilers?
I think we must.
Y'all, and I gotta say it up front, that way I'm not just dancing around it the whole time. Mephisto is in the MCU, confirmed, called by name, played by Sacha Baron Cohen,
who does a phenomenal
good job.
job. Steals all the scenes he's in, which
he's
is
good.
criminally few of them.
Yeah.
I must have him in more things.
Yes.
I don't care if it's shows or movies or what. I need more Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto.
This opens this one fact alone opens up some insane things with the MCU. For those of you, okay, I really love, like, my favorite Marvel MCU characters are like Captain Marvel, Billy Kaplan, and those are like my dearly, I love those. And then I really, really like the original cast, like Tony Stark and all those guys and stuff. I really do love them, but I think I'm just a sucker for magic-y things, which is really funny because I'm publicly very an atheist. So
You're
think
the most skeptical person I know.
And I think that allows me, this is a good avenue for me just to turn that off and be like, no, magic could exist in this universe. It's perfectly fine.
I mean, it demonstrably works. Yes. So obviously it's real.
I'm also a sucker for overpowered, insane superheroes that hate bullies, which both Captain Marvel and Billy Kaplan both are. Same with Luke Skywalker. There are superheroes, and there are those superheroes that, like, they have to fight the bully, right? And I've always enjoyed that about Billy Kaplan and Captain Marvel. Now, with that in mind, in the comics, Billy Kaplan and Tommy, his brother Tommy, are technically like Mephisto's kids. He created them with a piece of himself to entrap Wanda and all this other shit.
That's not so much the way MCU has played it to this point. That's not to say they couldn't retcon it, but
and I don't think it would even be that hard of a retcon because they don't actually get in too much about how the whole, we know that Wanda
consciousness swapping.
But also, the chaos magic, how she just, Wanda just created her kids out of chaos magic and stuff. And right, he switches. Oh, we got to watch Agatha. We're going to save it for October.
Okay.
When it's, Halloween time, we're going to watch Agatha all along again because it's so good. But anyway, there are lots. Also, this revelation that Mephisto, out of all of the top 100 Forbes business people or whatever.
All of them made deals with Mephisto.
Right.
The literal devil.
Yeah. Which I would. It would be hilarious if Disney's Elon Musk made a deal with Mephisto. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into the story a little bit here.
Okay.
So where do we leave off? We
leave off with Riri having a panic attack because John died, and it's kind of her fault.
And she didn't kill him so much as she just didn't save him.
But she has a part of Hood's hood, and she needs to figure out what the fuck's going on with that.
Right. And to be fair, John tried to kill her.
Yes.
Had the knife out and everything, was ready to go.
Also, Riri dropped some evidence that incriminates
the biotech
Ezekiel Stain.
Right.
She does the one thing Ezekiel told her not to do.
Yeah. I also, another thing I really like about Riri's character, I appreciate that she isn't a Girl Scout goody two-should go getter. I got to go save the world. There are things that there are criticisms about Riri that people that care about her make that aren't untrue. She is kind of manipulative.
Yes.
And her moral compass,
characters outright call her on.
Yes. And those things aren't I think it makes her character more rich and a little bit more developed, and I think these are things that she needs to overcome to be an actual hero.
I think that's the thing. She's not trying to be a superhero is the thing. Right. She's good at building things.
She wants to make a name for herself.
She wants to build things. Yeah. She wants to be renowned and known for how intelligent she is and what she's building. and the heroism is something that she kind of backs into by accident.
Right.
Like, I have this Iron Man suit, and there's a giant monster. I guess I'll go punch it. But isn't my suit cool?
Yeah. Well, remember that at first she was like, I have an iron suit. I guess I'll help you commit this crime.
That's true.
That was her first thing, right?
So that I can get more money to make a better iron suit.
So, yeah, she happens to know also after this that Parker probably knows that she killed John, or at least is real suspicious about it. And so she kind of like figures it's a matter of time before this crazy ass motherfucker comes at me with that hood. So priority 1, figure out what the hood is, right?
Priority 2, figure out how to protect the people I care about, because Parker is sure as fuck going to come for them if he can't get to me.
Right. So she goes, like, I like how she goes to work on that. And immediately there's very little she learns about the hood other than
nothing she tries on it works.
Right. And it is apparently emitting some kind of energy that can be used.
But she has no idea where the energy is coming from.
Right. Which would seem to break the laws of thermodynamics. Also, she learns that Zeke has been arrested. So they were, just like he said, just like he foresaw, they were able to immediately trace that biotech back to him, and he's in prison now for
gets arrested. Riri goes to visit him in prison, and it is the most awkward conversation imaginable.
He's pretty mad.
He is extremely upset. Riri recognizes that she's in the wrong here,
right,
and that she screwed up, and she says, I'm gonna make this right, I'm gonna get you out of here. And Zeke is like, I really don't want any help at all from you. We're done talking now. Would you take me back to my cell?
I like also how he kind of reads her a little bit, and because I mean Riri is kind of there because of her guilt, right? And I think she just wants herself to feel better, and hasn't thought about the circumstances that got her to the spot, right? So yeah, there's that whole thing. So she creates some little gadgets to give to like everyone
to her
matters
mom
to her,
and to Xavier. And she's like, here, put this watch on. Do not take it off under any circumstances until I tell you to.
Yes. And I like how everyone is just like, okay, I guess.
This is really weird.
To be fair,
you're the super genius. So.
Yeah, like a girl like Riri has probably been doing shit like this since she was like 8 years old. So like, okay, cool, I'll watch. It's really funny how we find out what the watches do because her mom is watching X-Files.
Watching the X-Files, and there's a gunshot on the TV.
Yeah. And
she screams, and Riri, who is sleeping in her iron suit because she's super paranoid at this point, Kool-Aid Man's through the door to find her mom sitting on the bed and trapped in this like green bubble. Like,
which,
what
by the
fuck
way,
happened?
I like how this is a payoff from like in like the first 5 minutes of episode 1, where that's a project that she did for someone that she sold so they could get an A on it. So she has figured out how to put it in a little watch and everything. She
has a heart-to-heart with her mom,
right? And then kind of manipulates her a little bit.
She's like, maybe I do need a little bit of magic, a little bit of fairy dust, maybe a little bit of tea leaves to figure out where I should go with my life.
Maybe we go see Miss Stanton.
Yeah.
So they go to Miss Stanton's shop. And we find out some
which
pretty
is like
interesting
candy store and bookstore and magic
chakras
red. And crystals and shit.
So we meet Miss Stanton's daughter, who is Zelma. Yeah, Zelma. And we find out
fantastic character.
Yeah, I like her.
I really like her.
Yeah. We find out some pretty interesting information about the both of them. First of all, Miss Stanton was a former trainee at Comertage, where Doctor Strange learned how to be a wizard.
There's a fantastic, like, Riri asks, "What's Comertage?" Zelma says, "My reach school."
Yeah,
like completely straight face, which of course.
Right. And they're so. Like on their face, their store is this
just random bullshit,
goop, crystals and vaginal Kegel stones and shit.
but in reality, they're actual sorcerers.
They're like, they can do magic and shit. And Zelma
takes them down to her workshop, and they're like, what the fuck is going on here?
And because I think they can sense the piece of the hood that she has, which, by the way, her mom has no idea why they're there, really. And then finds out that her daughter has this little piece of thing that was probably came from a really dark place.
They don't say Mephisto, but Zelma and her mom,
They
100%, they know it's Mephisto.
They start getting there though, and they do a couple tests on it and shit, and they get real spooked.
And Miss Stan is like, "Get the fuck out! Don't ever bring that thing back to me."
Yep, sorry. And then her mom calls her. She's like, you could have just told me instead of manipulating me to bring me to this fucking store. Like, you knew what you wanted to ask questions about. Like, why the fuck didn't you tell me about it? And she's like, "Sorry, I got to get my suit. Bye." And then flies away.
Flies
right?
away. Yeah.
Just doesn't know how to communicate really. So
she doesn't know how to deal with people calling her on her bullshit.
Right.
I think. Like she's so used to just getting her way and the world bending itself to her will that when people call her on it, she is like, "I'm just gonna go now. Bye."
Yeah. You see this iron suit I have? I have to go fly this around now. So there is there's this whole thing too with Natalie, her AI assistant, because I think at first she was really put off by it. Remember, this thing was a creation, though it was an accidental creation. Yes. And
she meant to scan her brain, and this brain scanned AI took the form of her dead best friend.
Right.
Who she's still kind of traumatized about.
Right. Which, by the way, the fact that this happened in the first place means you need to see a therapist.
Yes.
Like, this obviously is a problem for you. But as Natalie has existed, I think that Riri's ability to see the blurred line between reality and AI is coming down a little bit. And I think she starts kind of getting attached to Natalie a little bit. And Natalie, I think, is probably, like, I think we've agreed she's sentient.
Yeah.
Probably at least. And she wants to meet her brother. And Riri's like,
that's a bad idea.
That's insane. Because, like,
number one, not actually your brother.
Right, yeah. And, like, I've had time with you to, like, get used to it and, but
Xavier would freak the fuck out.
Yeah, like, how do you expect that, to go? And
so after she flies away from her mom, Riri, like, sets down in a junkyard where she starts having another panic attack.
Right, yeah.
And Natalie's like, "Hold on, don't go anywhere. I have a great idea."
I know what to do.
Jumps back in the suit, flies over to get Xavier, like, physically pulls him into the suit, flies him back to the junkyard, and spits him out.
And at first he's like, "Well, hold on a second. What the fuck am I doing here?" And then
Natalie pops up and says, "Hey, I thought it'd be a great idea for you to come over here and talk to Riri."
Yeah, and now obviously Xavier freaks out.
He does not take this well at all.
And he tells Riri he's like, "Fucking delete that bullshit." Like, what do you do? That's my dead sister. You're just like a marionette with my dead sister.
That's really fucking weird.
How did you think I was
Weekend at Bernie's?
Right. Like, what the fuck did you think I was going to do? And so
Riri looks at Natalie.
She considers it.
She's thinking about it. Natalie's like, "Really?"
Natalie's like, "You bitch."
All right, you know what? I'm just going to take the suit and fly away. Y'all work out whatever you're going to do.
Now, meanwhile, Parker kind of puts together that there's a link between Zeke Stain and Riri. So he goes to visit him in jail because he's got the hood.
Yep.
He can just kind of
sneaks in. He's like, "Hey, so you and I got something in common, and that's that we both fucking hate Riri Williams.
Yeah.
So how about you help me kill her?" And Zeke Stain is like, "I'm sitting in prison, and if I try to bust out, like, I'll be even in even deeper shit."
Yeah.
And Parker's like, "Okay, understandable. However, do understand that this is a one-time offer. So I'm going to go now. You have until lights out to make up your mind, and I'll talk to you then."
Yep. And I think at the end, we find out that Zeke is like...
so Zeke...
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the crew helps Zeke get out.
Yep.
And let's see, is this the episode where they start putting all the tech into Zeke as well?
I think they start loading up all this shit.
Yeah, so they load up all the shit and they drive back to the base.
So episode 5, Karma's a Glitch.
Good title.
Yes. Riri goes back and hangs out with Zelma. I think they're eating at like a Newcastle or something.
White Castle.
Yeah, White Castle, yeah. And she's like, hey, like, this probably comes from the hood probably comes from Dormammu,
Yes.
I guess, because like you told me that
Like it's got some dark juju in it.
Yeah,
I'm like 50% sure it's from Dormammu.
And like, because he told me about how Parker has the weird markings, and like there was this guy Caecilius who if you've seen Doctor Strange, the first one, had like weird eye things going on, and
Riri's like, what the fuck would Dormammu want with Parker? He's just some random hoodlum. And Zelma's like, well, it doesn't really matter who he is. What matters is what he can do, and what he can do is give Dormammu a foothold in this dimension.
right.
To start doing his evil dark magic shit.
Yeah, he's still real pissed at Doctor Strange for getting him caught in a time loop.
For coming to bargain over and over and over again.
Dormammu just shows up. He's like, Doctor Strange, I've come to bargain. Strange's like, oh fuck.
God damn it.
Oh, these interdimensional beings on this motherfucking Earth. So Parker's crew shows up to kill Riri.
First, the blood siblings come in, and they do their punchy kicky stuff. And
they don't. They do all right, but not. I mean, Riri's quick on her feet, and she's got a big old fucking brain.
Yeah. And she eventually
I do like the part where she makes the makeshift cannon.
Yeah.
Like she gets like a pipe and and she like hits it and everything.
Yeah.
Which she might not have done that against the twins.
I think that was Clown.
Yeah,
but
right.
Against the blood siblings, so she drops the watch on the floor, and they're both standing right next to her, and she's like, "Can you guys just fucking shoot me? And
Just
put me out of
fucking
my misery?"
shoot me already.
And they're like, "Okay,
I guess."
They pull out a gun and shoot her, and the sound makes the bubble go up, and they're
Right.
stuck inside it.
I think that's I think the way they paid that off was really clever too, with her mom in the previous episode.
Yeah. So next up is Clown, and Clown just puts some explosives on the glass and sneaks in, and she's throwing grenades and shit at Riri.
Yeah. She is acting the way that you would expect your group's
demolitions
pyro
expert,
to act. Yeah.
Riri manages to knock her out with one of her own bombs, and then gets out of the White Castle and is running away, only to be pursued by Slug in a truck, who comes by and is about to run her down.
Right.
When Natalie busts out of the back of the truck because Slug had
they captured
previously
the suit.
the
Yeah.
suit.
Right.
So Riri armors up and crashes the truck. My favorite part of this,
Mine too.
Slug gets out, looks at Riri in the suit, just says, "Oh hell no," and just
Nope.
walks away.
Girl, I'm not. Girl,
I'm a keyboard warrior. I
Yes.
don't do this.
There's one reason I'm still alive today. It's because I don't do shit like that. So see you later.
So last episode was when Zeke got teched up because he's the one.
Oh
who
yeah,
shows
he
up
shows up. Right. Yeah.
So before Zeke and Slug got like all his tech installed in Zeke, and Slug does a little sneaky and gives Parker admin privileges to all of it, which don't worry about how all this works exactly. Just
dick move.
Just keep it in the back of your mind.
Yeah, dick move though, Slug. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so Zeke shows up and has lightning powers now, and is shocking the shit out of Riri, and they fight briefly, and Zeke beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, well, I mean,
starts ripping off pieces of the armor, and he's like, "Okay, look, you're stuck inside this non-functional tin can now. I'm going to take this part of your helmet back to tell Parker I killed you. It's very, very important that you leave town and never come back."
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Parker will kill you, and then he'll kill me.
Right.
So let's just not do that.
Yes.
Like, I'm doing you a solid here. Try to help me out. So he leaves.
So Riri finds her mom and is like, "Mama, I think I fucked up."
We need to leave town yesterday.
Yeah. So Ronnie kind of confronts her with like
She's like, okay.
with everything, like her
Yes.
obsession with the suit and like how she behaves to people who care about her and shit, and like it ties into her trauma with like her stepdad and fucking Natalie and shit. It's one of those things where it's like your mom clearly is one of the good ones. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you go to her sooner?
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, she's not a genius and she doesn't know, a bunch of math and shit.
She
But
has common sense.
she's your fucking mom.
Yeah.
And, she cares about you and shit. And I think that's kind of like the realization that she comes to, that, she's got this whole tribe of people who care about her that want to help her do well and survive and everything. And I think that this was kind of the conversation that like kind of gets it going.
She also gives Riri some advice. She said, all right, you know how when we're confronted with stressful situations, we fight, flight, or freeze?
Yep.
You tried flying, you tried freezing, none of those worked. Why don't we try fighting?
Yes. And then she's like, oh, I got to go show you something real quick. And she takes her down to to her late husband's garage, which I don't think either of them had been to in a while.
Riri was there just a couple days ago.
Right, but I'm not sure Rodney had been there in a while. And there's this really touching moment where Natalie projects a
memory of young Riri and her stepdad dancing to some music.
Yeah, and how she got the Ironheart thing, like a wrench dropped on her head and shit. And it kind of like, it's like some on the spot therapy where she kind of like confronts these fears that she has.
She's like, I can't keep repressing every thought of my dead loved ones because then I also miss out on the good things about them.
Or I'll just have more dead loved ones if I'm so obsessed with doing this. So they decide more or less, well, let's build another motherfucking suit. Yeah. Like you're Riri Williams.
It's kind of your thing.
Right. So they make the garage a base of operations, and they use Gary's old fucking muscle car.
Yep.
And they take pieces off it and shit, and Zelma shows up.
Yep, Zelma shows up, does some magic to protect the garage.
Right, because they have a power problem. They don't have a good... I mean, Tony Stark has a fucking arc reactor. That's how his shit works.
Yeah.
She does not have an arc reactor.
She was able to do wonders with solar and wind power, but that's maybe
only
not enough.
Yeah, and so Zelma's like, we could power this with magic. However, like... all magic comes at a cost, so like you good for, and this is like a foreshadowing conversation too.
Yep.
Where she's like, "Is this what you want?" Because you there's no way you can know what the consequences will be. And Riri immediately was like, "Yeah, fuck it, charge me up with your voodoo bullshit." Yeah. So they do the spell. Zelma does the spell, and it erases Natalie. And Riri has a
little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah. And so I think where she lands on it is that like they get out of the situation they're in now, and then she figures out a way to to reverse engineer the magic to bring her back or whatever.
Meanwhile, the crew Parker talks to the crew and is like, "Hey, so did you kill Riri?" And they're like, "Yeah, Zeke did it." And
yeah.
Like, "Hey, Zeke, how'd you do it?" And Zeke's like, "I don't know, I just fucking killed her." Parker's like, "That's
badass.
Fantastic. However, there's no details in that story. It smells like bullshit." And Clown's like, "Yeah, I fucking killed him. I saw him do it."
Yeah. Yeah, they cover for him.
Yeah. Well, Clown specifically covers for him. A little bit later, the crew is like, Parker's acting really fucking weird about all this, and like maybe also like we got this autopsy report that shows that Parker killed Stu. Yeah. And that's not very cool. So
it's not very cash money for Parker.
So Parker is finally like, "Fine, you're all fucking fired. Get out."
And they're like, "You know what? We're thinking it might be time to leave anyway because you're a huge douche."
But Zeke and Parker get together, and Parker reveals that, "Hey, I control all the tech inside your body, which means I control your body, which means come with me. We're going on a field trip to the rich part of town."
Yep, you're my friend now, and I'm forcing you to be my friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they break into this mansion. It was the one that he and John went to in
a flashback, right? Yeah.
So they break in. Zeke is just like beating the shit out of everyone, being sorry. I'm trying not to do this. I'm really, really sorry about this.
They picked a good person in Alden Ehrenreich to do this. By the way, he does this kind of thing very well. Actor. Yeah.
So they get inside, and turns out the mansion belongs to Parker's biological father,
which I think is a twist we all saw coming from about a mile away.
It's believable, certainly. So Parker does the whole thing where he's like, "Here, sign over everything you own to me, or else." And his father's like, "I mean, you're the one with the gun and the magic cloak, so I guess. But I can tell you right now, you can get everything I own. You can get everything in the world, and it'll never be enough for you.
You'll still be a little bitch."
So here you go. Sign on the dotted line. Have a good life. See you never.
Also, the roof needs redone, so have fun with that.
Good luck.
So the season finale, The Past is the Past, which is where we get the end,
thrilling conclusion of the flashback,
right? Where Parker when they rob the mansion.
Running away,
right?
he goes to this like underpass of a bridge, and he hears a voice. He's like, "Hey!"
You getting chased by the cops, bro? And he's like, "I know, I don't know where the fuck to go." He's like, "Well,
to your left, you can step into my office.
You want some pizza? Here, let's go here."
So he's in a restaurant now, and who should be there but fucking Sacha Baron Cohen,
right,
just sitting at the table, munching on some pizza. And be like, "Hey, sit down, have a slice."
Yeah. Then they have a conversation about Parker's.
It's like, what do you want?
Like desperate need for more. Just like it's never enough with Parker.
Because his father kicked him out on his own when he was like 12 or whatever.
Right. And we know that Sacha Baron Cohen has some some weird powers and can make that one really loud family when you're out eating, he can shut them the fuck up.
Yep,
which, by the way, I might sell my soul to be able to do that as well. And does he name drop?
I don't think so.
In this meeting?
I think it's later.
Yeah. So he makes him a deal, and he's like, "I will give you all the tools you need to practically become a king.
To get as rich as you want."
Yes. And Parker is like, "Well,
what's the cost?
Yeah, what do I have to give you?" And he's like, "It's nothing you'll miss." And I don't know how he doesn't ask any follow-up questions.
Like, what do you mean by that?
What exactly?
Yeah.
And I'll decide whether or not I'll miss it. But he does, and he's like, "You know what? Fuck it. YOLO." And they shake hands.
I think it's very noteworthy that Parker adopts this contract-based modus operandi after this, because he's like,
it was very Faustian.
Yeah, like, this deal worked out well for me. Maybe I can get everything I want through other deals.
Right. Yeah. So, meanwhile, Natalie is gone, and Riri is trying to
She's trying to replicate. So she puts the electrodes back in her brain, types the thing in the computer, and says go, and it's not working.
Right. And then at some point she was like, "You know what? I'm going to fucking Parker's house. I'm going to go beat the shit out of him." And they're like, "Oh, okay.
Well, good luck."
Well, you shouldn't do that, but okay. You're going to do what you're going to do, Riri." So she shows up. She battles a very reluctant Zeke who doesn't want to hurt her or anything.
Is he really reluctant, though? Because he really doesn't like her.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants to kill her.
Yeah.
Obviously, otherwise he would have earlier.
They eventually come to this plan.
He's like, "I've got this great scientific plan.
Look, okay,
kick me in the balls."
No, she says, "I'm going to kick you in the balls. Yeah. That's going to put your body into panic mode and short circuit all your bionics, so I can hard reset them so that you'll be in charge of you again."
And he's like, "So hold on. I lost you to kick me in the balls. So, you're going to kick me right in the balls?"
She's like, "I'm going to pull it. I'll try to, preserve your ability to make little stains in the future."
Right. Can't make any promises, though. Okay, let's do this. Kicks him square in the balls.
Kicks him in the balls, resets him. She's like, "All right, we cool?" He's like, "You ruined my life."
Yeah, we're not cool.
I'm thankful that you gave me control of my body back, but watch your back.
Yeah. He's like, "This beef, it ain't cooked yet. So, be ready."
So she goes upstairs, and Parker's there. And she's like, "Give me the fucking hood." And he's like, "How about I kill you?" And she's like, "That's not very nice of you."
That's the opposite of "give me the hood."
So they fight, and Parker is clawing at her armor on top of her.
Oh, he goes full demon.
Yeah.
It's real weird. And if there was any question about Sacha Baron Cohen being Mephisto, I think Parker turning into a real life vampire demon kind of confirmed it.
At some point in this, before this point, Parker is looking at the hood and yelling, "Hey, get back here, Sacha Baron Cohen. We need to talk." And Sacha Baron Cohen is like, "Well, look, if you can hold on to what you've already got, maybe I'll give you some more. But I already gave you an awful lot. So let's see what you can do."
Also, Donald Trump's calling. I have to go.
So Riri is being clawed at by Demon Parker, and she is like, "Hey, armor, blow the fuck up." And it does. And she's just standing there, and Parker goes to shoot her or something, and turns out that's a hologram.
Yep.
And Riri is actually in the armor is a big smoke screen. She rips the cloak off him, and she's like, "Hey, you're fucking done."
Mm-hmm. We find out that apparently not wearing the cloak hurts him quite a lot.
Yes.
He's in quite a lot of pain. Quite a lot of pain.
Riri's like, "That is a you problem. I'm going to leave."
Yes. Now I think Mephisto is probably watching this whole thing, just invisible. And then when Riri wins, he shows up, and he's like,
she goes down to the first floor of the restaurant, and he's just sitting there eating his pizza.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
would you like
have a seat?
Which, by the way, I like how he presents himself differently. So to Parker, he was wearing really nice clothes, like how I think Parker wanted to see himself. And to Riri, he's a little more casual. He's got like a t-shirt on and is a little more laid back and everything. I think it's a really good manipulation tactic to mirror and make them feel a little more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And he more or less gives her the same thing that he talks about.
Fantastic detail in this scene that I really love. So there's a couple different shots they use. One is like a close up on Riri's face. One is a close up on Sacha Baron Cohen's face. The Riri's face one is completely normal, horizontal. Sacha Baron Cohen's is a Dutch angle.
Yeah. Also, did you notice he has like a cup of coffee that he stirs with a spoon? And when he pulls the spoon out, you can see his true form in the spoon.
I did not notice that.
Because do you know Mephisto from the comics?
Oh, I know of him. Yeah.
All red, fucking horns and shit,
yeah.
Big scary eyes. That's what the reflection was.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Eagle-eyed viewers were able to see that.
So they go through this discussion, and Mephisto says, "I'm Mephisto. I can see that what you really want is that you want your dead loved ones back. They say time heals all wounds, but we both know that's bullshit. So how about this? I can give you the means to get
all the tools,
everything you need to get what you really want."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What's the catch?" He's like, "Nothing. It will cost nothing that you couldn't afford to lose.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know.
Yeah. You won't miss it."
And he holds out his hand. He's like, "Do we have a deal?"
And they pull a little switch.
It cuts away before you can see whether she accepts or not.
Yeah. There's a time jump. We know this because Riri has different hair now. She has longer hair. And she solves the Natalie problem.
Yep.
Natalie shows up and she's like, "Oh, thank God."
She does some magic.
Yeah.
Explicitly.
Right.
Like she's doing magical calculations and shit. And Natalie pops up. And Riri's like, "Oh, cool. This is great. Run diagnostics." And Natalie's like, "Why the fuck are you talking to me like I'm a Star Trek character?"
Yeah.
And Riri gets real close, and Natalie's like, "Personal space, can you just back up?" And Riri realizes this is not Natalie the AI. This is Natalie, her dead friend.
Natalie the Natalie is
who
there, yeah.
somehow doesn't realize that her best friend has aged 5 years since the last time she saw her.
Yeah,
but
it's
we'll just let that one go.
The implication here being, of course, that she made that deal with Mephisto. In fact,
we know that because when Riri gives Natalie a hug, we see a little crack form on her arm.
Yep. There's a mid-credit scene.
Yep.
Parker shows up to Zelma and it's like, "Hey, I'm in need of some magical help," and she's like, "You came to the right place."
There are so many loose plot threads from this.
Yeah.
Just in no particular order. Ezekiel Stain is still out there.
Right.
It presumably has beef with Riri, might do something else. Parker's entire crew is still out there, and they're accomplished, skilled criminals.
I think they end up back with Riri at some point.
Possibly.
They had some good chemistry. That group had some good chemistry.
Parker and Zelma, whatever the fuck they're doing, and whatever Parker in general is doing. Mephisto, confirmed, but also we know that he's incredibly influential in the MCU. Like he said that he's made deals with all 100 of the richest people and all these other influential people.
I think he also has to sustain himself though with souls.
Could be.
So, like, he would never act like it, but this process is probably as necessary for him as it is for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a way to beat him. The question is, when we get to the next Avengers movie, are we going to have Mephisto running around, causing trouble and all that other shit?
It's also Riri's magic-powered armor. Like, we know magic comes at a cost. Is the only cost Natalie AI, or is it something else?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of directions that future MCU projects could go with just what we had in this show.
Yeah, I like the idea that there are several different several different parts of this can come back later, which I think was their intention. And I hope that they actually do it, because like this is one of the better stories, and I know that people are doing they're review bombing the show, and there are black people in it, so they're like, I don't know why this is the case anymore, but there are black people in it, so half of America hates it, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in now. I hope that they stick to their guns and develop the character more, because I actually really enjoyed this show. All right. Shall we talk about the movie that you and I saw today?
Oh, I guess.
Called Jurassic Park
Rebirth.
This one, the next one, Rebirth, right?
Jurassic World, whatever.
Yeah.
So I told you before I came over here, the Rotten Tomatoes score was at like 51%.
Yeah.
I think both of us had expectations that were extremely low.
Yeah, I thought I was really gonna hate it.
Yeah. And then we watched it, and I was like, this is half decent.
Yeah.
It's not all bad.
I wasn't. So some movies I watched in the theaters where at like after an hour, I'm like, oh shit, how long is this movie? I want to go home now. I was like pretty entertained the whole time. The cast works pretty well. Like Josh Bailey, I think is probably the standout character.
He's the scientist guy?
Right, yeah. I think he's really, really good. And social media has been talking about his slutty little glasses. I don't know if you've seen that as a meme.
No. Since when have glasses been slutty?
I think that's the joke. Because he's very, very attractive. He's a very attractive man.
So out of 13 winged predators the size of an F-16, how many would you give this?
Out of 13? Like 7.
Yeah, I'd say 7, maybe 7.5.
Yeah. So other faces that we noticed in this movie:
Scarlett
Johansson, Mahershala Ali, who I think when he figured out Blade wasn't happening, was like, I guess I'll do a Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
We mentioned Jonathan Bailey, of course, who we most recently probably saw in Wicked as Fiyero. Rupert Friend, who was the sleazy CEO type. Who is the guy? Ed Skrein is in this movie. I think he's the first one to die. Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Who is in several movies, but I first knew him as the first. What is his name in Game of Thrones? Dario Naharis. Before they recast him between seasons. But he was like the first one, and various other other actors and stuff. So yeah,
How do you feel about the music here? Because there was an awful lot of John Williams.
I think I liked the music more. I think I liked the film more than I liked the music.
Okay.
Now, John Williams did not write this film score.
Yes.
Alexander Desplat did.
But Desplat very deliberately lifted some of the greatest hits.
Right, and that's the thing, is that like when you copy and paste John Williams, it's going to sound amazing.
Yeah.
And like those big moments where like there's a moment with it kind of mirrors the Brontosaurus moment in the first film, with that sweeping Jurassic Park score. Like,
holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur.
Yeah. Every time they spin that motherfucker up, it doesn't matter what movie you're watching, you're like, that's magical, right? Yeah. The non-John Williams music in this movie is forgettable and unremarkable, and is more or less how I felt about his music that he scored for the Harry Potter series toward the very end. And I don't know. I try not to be like, oh, it's the guy that did Twilight, gross, because that's not his fault.
Yeah.
But I'm just not a big fan of his music, and was bored by all of the shit in all the film score in this movie that wasn't John Williams.
Speaking of boring, the first 30-40 minutes of this movie
much exposition,
is like all exposition and dialogue, and the worst part of this movie is the writing.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue.
Like the dialogue.
The plot is kind of stupid in that techno-babbly sense. Like, we need an excuse to get you onto Dinosaur Island.
Yeah,
Here it is.
It's also very formulaic.
Don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, it's kind of a copy and paste of a couple of like there's elements of The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 in it.
I can also tell you there are no twists in this plot. If you have seen the previews that are like, we need to go to the island, we need to get this blood, it's going to cure cancer or some shit. That's the entire
heart disease. Heart disease.
Yeah, the fact that it's heart disease and not like cancer or something else, that's the only surprise that I had. The rest is just dinosaurs. Ooh.
Yeah. And so the CEO guy wants to cook up a cure for
heart disease.
For heart disease.
And to do this, he needs. I guess we're in spoilers now.
Yeah.
He needs samples of blood from the 3 biggest dinosaurs, one from the ocean, one from the land, one from the sky.
Right.
Don't think about this too hard because it makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah. Well, we need
the dinosaur DNA.
Yeah.
That's it.
They lampshade a little bit where Jonathan Bailey's like, well, they're really big, so their hearts are really big, and their myocardial
and they live
muscles are
forever.
Better. Yeah. Right. So that's why, and we're like, oh, okay.
It's complete bullshit.
Whatever.
But again, don't worry too much about it. It's just an excuse to get you to Dinosaur Island.
Hey man, you're the scientist. I'm not. Whatever. But they're in a location where no one's allowed to go, and no sane person would go anyway, and so they have to.
Because this is the only part of the Earth where dinosaurs can live now, and
it turns out we brought dinosaurs back to Earth, and dinosaurs are like, why'd you do that? We can't live here. This is not what it was like when I was here the last time.
And so they go there, and there's this other family who's taking this like cross-Atlantic trip.
Something,
yeah.
I like this inclusion in the story where because Scarlett Johansson's a special ops mercenary, and she's gonna get him in and get him out, and on their way there they run into a family that's shipwrecked, and they're like, I guess you're with us now.
I mean, it'd be kind of a dick move to just leave you in the ocean to get eaten by ocean dinosaurs.
Do you want to come with us on our dinosaur adventure?
Come on!
And I like how they're like,
I promise this won't be ultra traumatizing to your 9-year-old daughter.
I like how they're like, you want to come along with us on our dinosaur adventure? And all of them are like, no. Take us home. Yeah. They're like, what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Anyway, we got to go on our dinosaur adventure. I do like the little girl finds a little pet.
Yep.
A little pet, cute little dinosaur that follows him around and everything.
She names Dolores.
Yes, which was adorable. Scummy CEO guy dies. A few of the red shirts die. And then they meet the big bad. There's an adorable scene. So I mentioned this to you in the car, but like they treat different dinosaur species like cameos. So like Dilophosaurus shows up, and there's an appearance of the Compies from Lost World. There's a new-ish kind of Brontosaurus thing,
This is a movie and a series. It's a long-running franchise, and they know they have to do enough new stuff to keep things fresh, while also spinning the greatest hits to keep the old fans interested.
The most adorable cameo, of course, is a sleeping T-Rex.
Oh God!
That wakes up and realizes that everyone's hanging out in his like area.
You stole my boat. I'm gonna eat you.
Yeah, he's like, well, wait, what the fuck's this? Why are you guys here?
But this T-Rex has eaten half of a dinosaur and just collapsed.
He was in a food coma.
Yeah, just lolling around.
They're like, we need this blow up boat, and he's like, That's
my boat.
That's my blow-up boat. You can't just have that.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we're going to go now. And he's like, no, I think I'll eat you. Stay right there.
Yeah.
I can't move very fast because I'm very full. And there's a whole action scene where they, God, I love that fucking T-Rex.
Best character in the movie.
Yes. So they meet the big bad at the end, which is this big ugly motherfucker.
It's this mutant that they made out of 6 different dinosaurs rammed together.
Right. And they're able to get all the samples. And scummy CEO guy gets eaten.
Well, he wants to bring this back to his pharmaceuticals company so they can make this cure for heart disease and charge billions for it. And scientist
Trillions.
guy is like, hey, what if instead we make this open source so that everyone can have it, and it costs nothing and it saves more lives?
Yeah, and
Scarlett Johansson's like, that gets me less money.
Yes, and he's like, yeah, but it saves your soul. And I can't stress this enough, fuck the pharmaceutical company. In the end, she ends up being like, nah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, there's one character fake out death with Mahershala Ali. You think he gets eaten, and then he shows up just like in Jurassic Park 3 with one of the characters. And then they all escape, but not on the helicopter because those guys fucking died. Yeah. That is a really cool shot, by the way. I like that shot in the movie where the helicopter's coming through the smoke, and it and you know it is because it's got a light on the front of it, and it just stops, and then like the smoke clears and the giant dinosaur just holding on to it. He's like holding it,
chomping it.
Yeah.
And
And then he's like, wait, this tastes like shit, and just throws it.
Yep, and it blows up.
It's got 4 arms.
It's
got
got
the 2
4
big
legs
arms.
and then like the 2 not quite Tyrannosaurus arms because they actually work.
It's real weird. But
it's
they get on a boat and escape, and then that's the end.
Promise not to go back to Dinosaur Island.
I don't think it had a post-credit scene because we didn't stay.
We didn't
long
stay
enough to see if there was. I assume there's not. If there is, tell us in the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, like
decent movie.
Yeah,
like,
it was fine.
It's not going to change the world or anything, but
for a summer blockbuster.
Yeah, if you're bored, it's not the worst thing you could do with 2.5 hours.
Yes, Captain Snakebite, Tyler he's our new Padawan we picked up for Battlefront, says, "Ooh, podcast before Battlefront 2." I don't think we're doing Battlefront 2 tonight, my friend. I'm sorry. Chris says, "May the Force be with you, Daniel and Chris. I hope you are both having a nice Friday." I thought the new Jurassic Park movie was better than the last 2 previous Jurassic Park movies. I hard agree. Yeah. I think that the last one, Dominion, I think, was just a heaping pile of shit.
Was that the one where Chris Pratt does the thing with his hands?
That's all of them. That's all the ones that Chris Pratt's in. Well, no, because that one's the there's the actions. They fly up to the base.
Is like where he's the Alpha Raptor, and he's like, "Stop, dinosaurs!"
Yeah, well, it's
go over here.
Like the most recent one, like that one raptor's like his pet now, and they have to go save its kid.
Yeah.
And then the one before that, they have to evacuate everyone from all the dinosaurs from the island, and they end up in a mansion getting chased by dinosaurs. That one was pretty shit too. Yeah, I don't know. I do agree this one is definitely better than the last couple of films. So anyway, that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. I will be back. What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Saturday.
I'll be back tomorrow with some Battlefront, I think, with the guys from Gremlin Squad. And then Sunday will be Gungans and Dragons, our weekly tabletop RPG. So you can check that out as well. That'll be at 7:30 p.m. Central. So I hope to see you guys then. In the meantime, thank you for the comments and for hanging out with us, and we hope you have a good